I always say, welcome to Vegas Live with Ninon, but we always have funny things going on before we actually start filming, which is really quite exciting. But anyway, Vegas Live with Ninon, I'm your host, Ninon, and then we have a chef with us, and we're going to learn all about Chef Lan. And we're going to learn about, I think it's Jamaican food? What
No,
sort
fusion food.
Fusion food. When I think of fusion, I think you're going to get this great long needle and fuse something into it.
Correct.
Oh, I got it right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you have a restaurant in town, right?
I have actually a pop-up ghost kitchen for right now, but I'm working to do a brick and mortar soon.
Well, wait a minute. What's a pop-up ghost kitchen? Sounds like something like it's one of these virus things that,
I know, right?
that you have to do. Otherwise, you can't be open.
Right. Well, realistically, what it is that it's a restaurant without the seating for guests. So
well, you're perfect then.
Yes.
For this time of what's going on, COVID-19, you fit right in there.
Correct.
So have you had this for a long time like this?
No. I actually just acquired this place a couple of months ago, about 2 or 3 months ago.
Okay.
And it's doing pretty good.
So I love to hear these stories with this COVID-19 going around. All restaurants especially, and sort of entertainment is dead. But my last guest, he's making it and doing well. And now you're actually twisted around and found another way to actually sort of... Did you have a restaurant before?
No, I'm more of a celebrity chef, and I was traveling all over the world, and I was flying different places to do that. But I decided to just do down roots here.
I didn't know that he was a celebrity chef, but let's delve into it. So who are your clients? You actually travel for clients then?
Yes.
And you do their cooking for what? And do you cook whatever they want?
Yes, I customize every client's list.
Their need.
Right, so nobody gets the same thing. So, like, you might come to me for something that is rare, but what I do, I put a twist to it, plus on top of another twist with my own makeup, my own seasonings and flavors and injections.
So you find out, okay, this is where the injections come in. I knew there was injections in this food. I love it.
Oh, and alcohol.
And alcohol. But why not? I mean, we cook with wine. We've been cooking with wine and sherry, but is this a little bit stronger? Like
yes, it'd be rum. I do a lot of rums.
A lot of rum. Yeah, but rum, you put in rum cake. I remember rum cake as a little girl.
Correct.
My mum used to say, can't eat too much of that. And I said, why not?
Well, the trick to it is I put it also in steaks.
Oh, I've never had a rum steak.
I made a tequila lime ribeye one time, and I made a jalapeno ribeye, and all of my guests loved it. So.
And they love that. Now, who you have, your celebrity guests, are they all in the entertainment business, or are they corporations, or are they society people? Across the board?
Yes, it's across the board. It's a little bit of a mixture of both, because you never know who might call you.
Okay.
So one day you might get someone to call you, and they have a TV show. They might be a producer, and they might say, oh, well, can you come do this? And then when you get there, you be like, oh, man, it's such and such. You be looking like, oh, hey, how you doing? And then sometime you might go somewhere, and it might be at-home business person. So you never know who you meet until you get there.
So you don't know who you meet. And have you got a list of people?
I have a list, but I don't know if they would be liking me to be saying stuff. But I have done a lot of stuff. I even did stuff for for Wade King as well.
Okay.
And also, I did a lot of stuff for a lot of people. I did some stuff for, what is it?
Well, they're celebrities anyway.
Yeah.
Anybody is a celebrity anyway.
Right.
How did you get into the celebrity side? Is it because of the way you cook and how you you kind of cater to what they want?
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, I looked at it like this. I didn't have an idea of me just picking celebrities. It was more or less that they saw me.
They found you.
Yes.
You didn't find them.
Right.
Oh, that's cool.
So I was making certain type of food, and then people would come to me and say, oh, that looked nice. How does it taste? Mm-hmm. So then I would go out and I would pass out stuff for free. And so that got around that I was doing stuff for free. Then when people actually tasted, they would started booking me for different things. And next thing you know, it went from there. And I did a mansion party in West Hollywood West Hollywood, Cali, and this thing, and no, everybody's calling for me different places.
Well, yeah, once you do one of those, and then you have all the celebrities coming to the party, and they like your food, they've got to like your food, otherwise you're dead duck, right?
Right.
So you have to really, so when you sort of started doing this, did you realize that all these celebrities were going to be there, and now they're going to maybe choose you to do what they want?
Well, no, I didn't realize it, but it was like fun at the same time because I know I went to Michael B. Jordan's aunt's party, and I did one of those, and I was like, "You who?" And I looked at her again, and I said, "Oh man!" And I'm looking like, and then some stupid stuff you might say, "Wakanda forever." I'm like, don't do it. And so I'm laughing, and then my friend said, "You know who that is?" I'm like,
No.
You
and sound like me. I'm the same thing. I don't know.
So, because me, I don't care who people are. I'm gonna treat everybody 110% the same. So I'm gonna show love to everybody. So a lot of times when I go places,
didn't impress you,
right? My thing is, I'm there to impress you.
Yes.
So that's how I go
with your food and everything else. Now he brought a couple of things today with us for the staff and everybody here and the crew, and you brought us a turkey thing with all these different wraps in them and everything else. Where did you and how did you get the idea of sort of putting all this together? Did you do it and then taste it to see if you liked it, and how did you know that this is what people want?
Honestly, I would say I'm just crazy blessed like that because I don't have to make it for the 5th time or 6th time. I can make it that first time, like whatever process is in my mind. Like if I think about, I don't want chicken like this today, then I said, I'm not afraid to open the barrier and say.
You're not afraid to put something else in there.
Correct. I would do it the first time out the gate because I understand the balance of the different flavors, or I understand the different balances of cheeses or just vegetables. So when you put 2 and 2 together,
yes,
I mean, and you've been eating different foods or variations, it's going to come out the same way as far as how you prepare it.
Yes.
So if you've been making it that way, all you're doing is just changing and flipping it out to another creative style of look.
Yes.
So I change it up.
So it's roughly the same, but you change it because there's only so much you can do with food. I mean, come on.
Not necessarily. You can do a lot, but
you put rum in it. He puts rum in steaks.
Yeah, and never see nobody do that. Like I said, that's why I'm known for what I do because nobody in the world does what I do. It's a difference between your flambeing stuff versus I inject and then I make a sauce to go with it, to go over it, whatever. So it's more than just me. Like some people just flambe, put a little, with the rum. I actually inject it, infuse it.
You infuse. You actually have a tube when you.
Yes. Well, I have a syringe. Yes, I have a syringe. So it's more detailed.
I love that idea. That's amazing. Yeah. So how long have you been doing this?
Well, I've been doing food since I was 7 years old. So
he's now 17. No.
I know, right?
So when you started all this, who you practiced it on your family, obviously?
Not really. When I started this, it was I came from I grew up at 14 years old in a fine dining restaurant working beside my stepdad. So I was always
involved in
food, but I was always liking the idea of how you put something together.
And did you put things together for the restaurant?
Yes, and so that's why I like it.
Did they become popular, the things that you made? And
yes, I did. I even had some of the main chefs for the restaurants get mad at me because
the guests doing.
Because the guests would come in and ask for me, they wouldn't ask for him, and he was like, "Well, what are you doing?" I'm like, "I didn't do anything," but they just like my style because I'm not afraid to think outside the box.
Do you know? I think it's like a married couple, and the woman usually cooks, and some women can really cook great, and some women can't, and some men can cook, and I think it's just something. I like to cook. But I never measure anything. I never know what I'm going to do. And it just kind of, I put this and get this and do this and do that and sort of get it together. And I think there's some people just like that. And there's some people that just have no idea.
Right.
It's just, and you obviously have. Now, do you have recipes that you put out there? Have you got a book? Do you have a book yet? Are you going to get a book?
Well, I'm looking into doing a book in the future. But right now, I don't plan to put any recipes up, being that...
He want to keep them for himself.
No, but the thing is that I create on the spot. So say, for instance, if you told me you want something sweet, spicy, but you want a twang to it, right?
Yes.
You give me 5 minutes, I come up with a recipe. I make a recipe on the spot, just like that.
Yeah, but you could still have that as a recipe, although it's different. And then the next time you do it, it'll have something else in it, right?
No, I can make it the same way. I can make it 10 years from now and still have the same thing.
Same
but
thing.
the thing is that I try to give somebody a different experience every time. So that way they can always come
each
back
time
and
it's
won't be so
different.
tired
Yes.
of eating the same thing. Because, you know,
Exactly.
you go some places, like I hate going some places, you say, oh, let's go to this restaurant. I know the whole menu.
Yeah.
I want to go somewhere and say, well, you know what? I'm going here because I don't know what they have today. So I'd rather do that. So I love being able to wow people with different things and different suggestions.
Well, you did. He brought something in today, which is like a lasagna, like a flats.
Fettuccine noodles.
Fettuccine noodle, which is your own recipe, which was delicious. And then you had your mixed vegetables. But he had this fish.
Mm-hmm.
Now the fish, what was the fish?
That was a snapper. That was a Caribbean red snapper.
It was a red snapper, and it was lovely, but he had the head on top. Now, in Europe, we like that.
Mm-hmm.
In America, they don't like to see parts of things, like heads and different things on food from the animal. Does that go down here with your cooking? Because I haven't enough to see that. Most people don't like to see heads and
Well,
things.
it depends because you know what? It's like a half and half.
Yes.
Because you have some people that like with the head and then some don't. So it's like when somebody called to order something,
Yes.
I have to ask, is it with or without? Because you have some
That's
people.
what I mean, yeah.
Some people be like, oh, well, make sure the whole fish is there. Like they want everything.
Everything there,
and then
yes.
some people say, oh my God, I don't want to see it.
That's exactly what I was saying.
Yeah.
In Europe, it's more they want to see it. In Europe, they like to see the great big.
Right.
In fact, they like the whole fish, and then they like it to be scaled. And at the table, we do that a lot. They don't do that so much in America, and I think it's because people want it like already and done and prepared and lovely. Have you ever thought of putting some of your recipes together and kind of had them as a frozen food or anything like that? Has that crossed your mind yet?
It has crossed my mind plenty of times, but the thing is that I look at it as being like too much of a hassle because the main reason why my food comes out great is because a lot of times I don't freeze none of my food. I make it fresh on the spot, and if you do freeze something, it needs to be vac sealed.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that. Like, you put something in a
Yeah, 'cause
Ziploc bag,
yes.
it's got oxygen in it. You
Yes.
want to take the oxygen out the
All
bag.
that's why they're always so flat, aren't they? They're always
Right, it takes all the pressure.
Nothing in there.
Right.
And
Now,
I
if you
don't
take all
suppose-
the oxygen out, then what happens is, then I can keep it in the refrigerator or the freezer in the freezer, I can keep it like 6 months to a year in there and then take it out. And you would never know the difference.
The difference, yeah.
Right, but if you have something with oxygen in it, what happens is that
Learning something.
it burns the food. Like, you know, freezer burn,
Yes.
you get freezer burn on your food. So the thing is, it's the best thing to do if you're gonna vac seal all your stuff and it lasts longer.
Yeah.
Like I even marinate some of my food. Like for some of the restaurant stuff I do, I marinate it and I can marinate. I do an aged process like 2.5 weeks in some of my high-end steaks.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
So you do that. So you already do that. So now you say you make food for different restaurants?
I make food for different customers.
Different customers?
Yes, because I do catering. Plus, I do also curbside pickup, to go, and delivery. So I do both. I do a full-size catering that I do for anybody from 2 people up to 500.
2 people to 500. Well, you only need, I think, what is it, 4 at a table now, or 6 at a table? You can.
Right.
I don't know. Every single day or week it changes. Sometimes you can have 10 at a table, and then it cuts down to 4 at a table.
Right.
Then it goes back to 6 at a table.
And that's why I like where I'm at, because I don't have to really worry about that. I just
No.
get curbside and say, hey, let's do curbside. They do curbside, then they call in the order, boom.
Yeah.
And have my people take it out to them, and we are fine. And then they just drive off, have a good day.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you've got it all worked out. So actually, I'm coming back down to the COVID thing, because that's what everything seems to be all about. It hasn't really affected you. In fact, it's probably increased your business.
Yes.
See, everything's positive. This is amazing, because we're seeing so much negative on television and so much stuff on television. And yet I'm interviewing people and I'm seeing people taking different directions, like working at home. And now they don't have to sort of with the gas and getting dressed and doing all this crazy stuff. They now know they can work at home better than if they were in an office. You probably wouldn't. You're probably very, because you go to people's homes.
I will say this. When it comes down to being successful in anything you do, things jumping in your way shouldn't be something that I would say that you would let get in your way, right?
Yeah.
So the biggest case to a lot of situation would be, let's say, like say for instance, something getting in your way, you can either move around it, go under, over, or through it. A lot of
get rid of it.
Right. But see, like so many people come and I see people say that, and me, I come from humble beginnings. I didn't have nothing. I started from nothing and made something successful out of myself because I never gave up on myself. But
that's the idea.
And a lot of times people
That's
get
the
to
key.
a point and they say, okay, well, this is enough. Next thing you know, they stop. But the thing is, if you stop, how would you know what's going to happen next? So a lot of times you just have to just
keep going if
Yeah,
you really like
yeah.
it. And I think that's, if you've really built a business. I was with some people the other day, and my father and son, and the son is thinking of doing something else, and he's built this business up. And I said to him, why would you do that? You've spent all these years building this business up, and that's because of a couple of things you don't like in it. I said, look at all that time and all that money and everything you spent doing this, and didn't something, whatever, and he's going to do something else. And I said, don't do that. I would,
Well, we got to learn how to utilize things in life. I mean, things is never going to be like we want them.
No.
So the thing is, if something happened, then you have to figure out what way that works better for you. It's just like this COVID thing come up. So what I did for me, I don't know about nobody else. But what I did...
Well, that's all you can do is for you.
Correct.
It's your business, your
Correct.
thing.
So what I did for myself was I said, okay, we got COVID here, and so many people worried about the food being messed with. So... the bag, so I got a COVID-friendly, safe bag that I brought, and what I did is that it seals at the top, and nobody can get into your bag, nobody can mess with your food at all. So when you get home, you can be rest assured that nothing's
going to happen to
correct.
that food.
And then it's got a side piece where you take and mash in both indentions and pull out, and then you can take your food out from the center, so you never have to worry about nobody going to see your food.
Brilliant idea. So you're going, well, it's actually, it's a non-trust thing. But you're trusting people, but maybe you trust people, but maybe they don't. So you're making them feel very comfortable doing it in another way. It's funny you should say about people are now worried about their food and everything, in case something's in the food. Well, something could be in the water. I mean, something could be in the air. You can really get paranoid about this whole thing. So,
but you just try to cover the things that people actually see. And most things people care about is two things: cleanliness and presentation.
Yes, presentation is very great.
And so I'm big on presentation. That's pretty much how people love my stuff.
Yeah,
so
the way you present it.
Right. So when I do a presentation, first thing people are, oh my God, that looks good.
Yeah.
I said I did my job.
Yes,
but if I go out there, some people have some good food. Don't get me wrong. Like I have seen some of my family do food. I don't know about nobody else, but I know some of my family. It might be good, but I'm looking like, what is that?
Yes, because they didn't present it the right way. And
so I believe presentation.
It could be absolutely nothing, but the way that you present it, it gives the encouragement. Your taste buds start rolling around.
Yeah, so I firmly believe in presentation, no matter if it's dressing up, talking, thinking. I think you should have a presentation of how you do something because it gives you a better onset of how to handle a positive sight to anything you do in life.
Absolutely, and you're very honorable. How can anybody reach you?
You can reach me if you have Instagram. It's Chef Lan 702. Chef Lan 702 is at Instagram, and then also I have another one 702 Fusion Grub LLV as in Las Vegas, and then I have a website as well, which is 702fusiongrub.com, and also for others they can reach me at 702-389-2033. So. They can reach me there for to-goes, full-size catering. I'm willing to work with anybody. It depends on what you want. Let me know. I do custom menus all the time.
You think of it, he makes it. The chef makes it, whatever you want. I want to give a shout-out to James Kelly. He owns the studio, which is Quirky Minds Media. Absolutely amazing. He's given us this studio because we're obviously not at the pepper mill, and because everything's all twisted around and what have you. It's all crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Crazy world we live in. But the funny part about this crazy world we live in is we're all getting very used to it, and we're all finding different ways. So I don't think it's ever going to go back to what it was ever again, because we've all found a different way to do things and how to do it. I also want to make sure that you go to YouTube and you subscribe, Vegas Live with Ninon. We shall be have our next guest. Actually, our next guest is going to be James Kelly. We'll be back. If you enjoyed the last show we just did and all the other shows, don't forget to subscribe, Vegas Live with Ninon on YouTube. We've got plenty more coming up, and our guests are amazing. So don't forget to subscribe. We'll be right back. Vegas Live with Ninon.